Hey, what's up, everybody? Steviebreech coming to you. This is YouTube True Stories, the story of me and my buddies heading out to Wrestlemania last year. This is the trip that pretty much almost didn't happen. I don't know. I was very, very persistent that I was going to go to Wrestlemania last year when it was in Atlanta. I hadn't been back. Well, no, I'd been back once, but I hadn't really, gone back on my own. My mom flew me out there one time. I'm back, but since I moved from Georgia, I haven't really gone back there on my own to exploring or anything like that. So when they said Atlanta for WrestleMania, honestly, my first thoughts at WrestleMania at 26 were, I don't know, I just didn't think it was gonna happen. I honestly, the first Skype call, the first time I ever really talked with Luke Cage and freaking 88. I talked them out of going to WrestleMania. They were sort of saying they were going to go to Atlanta, and I told them, man, downtown Atlanta is not the nicest place in town. It is not Phoenix. We went to 26. Phoenix was one of the nicest cities that I'd been in. And yeah, I would walk on those streets basically any time of night. I mean, I've been down there to Phoenix for, I guess you can say, a baseball vacation. When I was single, I went down there to watch the A's spring training for a whole week. That was a lot of fun. Phoenix doesn't scare me. That's a nice place. Downtown Atlanta, you want to make sure you're in a good pack of people, or you're gonna get your ass kicked. And that's pretty much what I told him. It's a dirty town. There's a lot of homeless people down there. It's not the nicest place to be. So I sort of scared them out of it, and one thing led to another. Something happened the day that the ROH tickets went on sale for Atlanta. That was in October sometime, I believe, and I just said, I need to go to this. I need to go. It's in my, I guess Sacramento is where I was born, but I really grew up, in Georgia and Atlanta. I said, this is in my hometown. I got to go back there and check this out. So, you know, um, I asked around. I couldn't really find anybody that wanted to go to. I was trying to hit up my buddies Luke and yeah, trying to see if they wanted to go, and they were pretty persistent that they weren't going to go. They just said, no, I'm going to skip this one, and we'll see what happens after that. And I was just like, all right, what I guess I'll do is I'll just buy two tickets, and then I'll just ask one of my buddies that doesn't watch wrestling. I'm sure somebody would want to go to this big event if they could. So that was my whole plan, that I would find somebody to stay down there with. I keep it pretty small, so I had it sort of set up that I was going to stay with one buddy that I went to high school with. He was going to let me crash on his couch for the time I was there. So the trip was on. It was just going to be Han Solo. But I kept on sort of being persistent that I wanted, somebody from one of my YouTube buddies to go along. So I knew if I could get one of them, I was gonna have fun. And I was on Skype one night, literally, and I got the little PM, and it was yeah, and basically he was hinting at the fact that he wanted to go, and I was like, I fucking got him. And the second that the blood was in the water, Luke jumped on board, and so did Ravi, and we came to foursome. And that was just how it was. Being a group that had to buy tickets and stuff, I sort of put my credit card out there that I was going to be the guy that bought all the tickets, and that is a whole lot of responsibility. Anybody out there is going to be building a group trip, try to be anybody but that guy. I was trying to make sure that you get payments from four guys on all sorts of different shows. You know, it was a little hard, and it was pretty weird. You had to sort of be persistent. Like, hey, I need my shit, and I don't know. Basically, we were the foursome. We got all our tickets all lined up. We were all ready to go. As talked about before, Luke came up. We went to the Elimination Chamber, which is in Oakland, or Iowa was, and that was our kickoff to WrestleMania. The countdown was on. Sometime in between Elimination Chamber and Mania time, Billy Paz started getting in there, and he wanted some guys to hang out with. He wanted to head down to Mania. He had cut part of his thumb off, and he got a little bit of money in his pocket. So we said, yeah, come on. He joined into the crew. We actually, Paz was really nice. We had a smaller car, and he paid the difference for us to upgrade to a different rent-a-car. That way we wouldn't be cramped and he wouldn't be in our way. Um, we were all supposed to have our own rooms, and somehow along the way, me, Ravi, and Miguel said, "Fuck it." We all went solo, single style, and we all shared a room, and that was just awesome. That was a cool experience. Anybody who scared about sharing a room, Luke had his own room. We called it the Spankatorium. He wouldn't let me go in there. It was one day I really really had to go to the bathroom. I didn't want to drop a load with well, I talked about throwing up all over all over the place in the other video, but he wouldn't even let me go in there to do that. We were gonna be on for like 16 hours. It's gonna be gone when we get back, but I don't know. Luke's a little bit of a weird guy, but all in all, a lot of people ask why we flew into Alabama. Everybody that lives in Georgia knows that if you fly into Birmingham, you can save a whole lot of money. Delta has like a real stronghold, and it's still gonna be another year before Southwest finally gets in there, and you can save a whole lot of money flying Southwest. I saved almost $250 by just flying from my town into Birmingham and then renting a car and driving in. I still saved money. I had dollars in my pocket, and it wasn't that bad. Birmingham to Atlanta is only about maybe an hour, hour and a half at the longest. But that's what we did. So we started off a little bit of a road trip. I met Ravi. I met Luke. Miguel flew into Atlanta. He started off on his own plan for some reason, but we flew into there and we all met up, and that was an awesome experience. Me and Luke knew each other. We knew Ravi just from watching his videos and talking to him on Skype. So he was the new guy, but he adjusted well. We went and picked up our car, which was a dark. The only way to describe this car was purple. Online, it was described as a Jeep or comparable, but was some purple Kia. I don't know. It looked like it was some sort of I don't know, whatever. My mom has some sort of car, and that's what it looked like. But it was all right, and it worked. We didn't really know how to put the car into drive. We put the car into like double drive or something like that. We didn't know that you had to go all the way down on the shifter and then over to go in normal drive. So we fucked this car's transmission up. We drove all the way from Birmingham to Atlanta before we finally figured out how to put the car into drive. Basically in second and third gear. It took us about maybe 10 minutes to get the car to 60, and then it made some pretty loud noises to get to 70 and get jamming. But that was pretty fun. We went and we picked up Paz, and we picked up Miguel at the airport. When we were walking around, we were able to spot Drew McIntyre. Yeah, actually had a whole full-on conversation with him. Me and Ravi started to walk up to him at baggage claim. He took off like we were a couple of marks. That was pretty cool. I don't even know what I would have said to the guy. Still not a fan of him. I still wish that he was getting pushed a little bit better. But just to actually meet my first superstar of the week, just would have been pretty cool for it to be at the airport. But later on, when I went to Access, he did apologize. He said he was in a pretty bad mood that day. They lost his family's luggage, I think was the story that he said to me. I can't really remember. But he said that he was pretty much in a bad mood. And he didn't say that he saw us coming, but he said that he, was tired of getting attention and wanted to get the hell out of there. Basically, what we did was we packed our whole week. And this is honestly, I wouldn't do it any other way. But does anybody watch the Mania videos? We probably did a little bit too much, not enough sleeping. We went from start to finish. We went out to eat the minute that we picked up everybody at the airport. We went out. We had these huge burgers. Mine had egg, and it was like a half-pound of beef, and I made it even a 2 half-pound patties. I think it was a burger. It was called the Heart Attack Burger, is what it was called. It was one of the biggest burgers that I ever had, but it was damn good way to start off the trip, and that is honestly one of the only meals that I remember eating that whole week. Like I said, we went, start to finish the whole time. From there, we left. Georgia has some back-ass country rules that they follow. I did post a video trying to warn everybody, but in most counties and most cities, they cut off alcohol sales at 11:45 p.m. They don't sell till midnight, but there are some cities that change their laws and change their rules in order to gain more taxes and more revenue and stuff like that sells till 2. So we stayed outside of Atlanta. Like I said, I was going to stay with some friends, so I booked the hotel, and everybody else stayed there because it was pretty dirt cheap, and we all ended up rooming together. I don't even remember what that. It was quality, and it was one of the cheapest places I ever stayed at. But it had a real nice kitchenette. That's what it was going for. So we had to drive out there. Once we checked in, we had to double check where to go to get beer because everybody wanted to stock their rooms up, even though we honestly weren't even there enough to get booze. The only really night we needed them was the last night. We'll get to that later on. But we went out, and it honestly took us about at least an hour and a half, I'd say, to track down this gas station in Smyrna that would sell booze until 2 o'clock. Just barely made it. It was actually right down the street from the Pizza Hut that I used to manage, but it was so late that I didn't even want to stop by and see if anybody was there or anything like that. I just wanted to get home from a long day of traveling. Um, got back in, got settled, and I don't know. We went to sleep that night. I think we probably went to sleep late. Like I said, we were out buying beer at like probably 1 or 1:30. We probably had a couple, but I remember waking up the next morning. Paz is an East Coaster. He's used to it. He was making fun of us and texting on Twitter for sleeping in late, being a West Coast guy. I was up. I was just in my room, and I didn't want to, do anything. I went to go get him. I was gonna go have breakfast with him at the Waffle House. I was in the parking lot of the hotel, but I just didn't catch him in time. I didn't find out where he was. Called home, did all that jazz. Came back in the room. I watched Sports Center 3 times that morning. It was opening day of baseball. They kept on. I remember doing an interview with Carl Crawford, who signed with the Red Sox. He was supposed to have a real big year, that it sort of flopped out. But I remember watching that 3 times and sort of like tweeting that I was in the hotel room waiting on them to wake up, and this, that, or the other. And finally, like I had 3 people in a row make fun of me that I was on vacation, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it was in 11 o'clock or 11:30. It was pretty late whenever it was. The people were making fun of me for not going outside. So I stood up. I kicked the shit out of the bed, and I said, "Wake the fuck up! We're on vacation. Let's get the hell out of here." Woke them up. Um, First thing that they did when they woke up was Ravi said, "Hey, Miguel," in his MC voice, and that was it, man. We were on and laughing after that. From there, we went out to Costco to stock up on other stuff. I bought a case of Monsters that you can see throughout the video. I was drinking honestly about maybe 3 to 4 of those a day. Um, that's real healthy. That's good for you. Bought a couple of cases of soda. Bought a case of water that we threw in the back of the car to have, in between shows and stuff like that. From there, we went to the mall. We had a little bit of fun there, and then we went out to what was just supposed to be just some time to kick around and do nothing. We went to this place called Andretti's Kart Racing. We were supposed to race go-karts, but somehow we went to the arcade because they told us they needed a little while to find time for us to get on the track. They were having a party or something like that, and little we know, we all wasted about $20 or $30 playing stupid jackpot game with a racquetball that jumps down and goes in the hole. We were shooting hoops, playing race car games. That was a whole lot of fun. That was a good way to bond and start off the trip. I left there. Went to our first show, which was ROH. I've said many times that was a real fun experience. Probably one of the best live shows that I've been to. It was real cool the way that the ring was down in a bowl, and all the noise just circulated around. It was not a real big house. I don't really even know how to say, many people were there, 1,000 or so maybe. I'm not sure, but it was loud and it was awesome. It was good fun wrestling. I honestly thought I was going to become a big fan of ROH. I just sort of lost track of it. About a couple DVDs throughout the year, and now here it is, the show. It's coming up that we're going to again in Miami, and I have no idea what's going on. I watched the main event of the pay-per-view the other day, but I wasn't able in time to see the rest of the show. But I still am looking forward to it. I know they will put on a good show, but with the world's greatest tag team going over, and falling in love with this their concept of tag team wrestling. I think I shot myself a little bit too fast. I remember leaving that show and being like, wow, I screamed a lot, and my voice was pretty shot, and I think that's was the first night of not really getting it done. From there, which is now that's now Friday night. What happened was, when we were at the ROH show, people started tweeting us that news sites were reporting that we needed to dress up for the Hall of Fame. Most of us just wanted to wear, a t-shirt and shorts. They're saying that people would be turned away if they were not dressed business casual, which was sort of like, well, none of us really packed for that. What the fuck are we supposed to do? But then again, we bought these floor seats for the Hall of Fame. We were in one of the closest rows you can be in that were fans. We sat like 2 or 3 rows behind where the referees and the announcers were. They were real nice seats, really close to where all the superstars were. You can see them all down there and stuff like that. Um, but we were like, we don't want to take the chance of not doing it, so we left the ROH show. We stayed around and we got a lot of autographs from the guys in the parking garage and all that jazz. But then we went back. We had a meal at the Waffle House, and then from Waffle House, at the Waffle House, that was awesome. Basically, my buddy Josh Molinaro's on here on YouTube, Mr. Molly, Undertaker 07 and some stuff. He made me a CM Punk shirt, and the CM Punk shirt. Well, maybe it's the Jeff Hardy shirt. I don't even know who shirt it is. That I made CM Punk a motherfucking superstar. Basically off of the shoot, Waffle House Shooters thing that they did, and on the back it actually said Waffle House Shooters. I wore that to the Ring of Honor show. It's just a cool way to be funny, and that just happened to be what we wore into Waffle House that night. We went into Waffle House, and I swear to God, wearing that shirt, the music on the jukebox stopped, and everybody was looking at me. I made everybody feel uncomfortable. Nobody got the joke. Nobody knew what was going on. And I think I flipped everybody out. Paz actually tried to put his Red Sox jacket on me. That lasted about a second before I wanted to light that thing on fire. There's no way in the world I'm wearing that crap. I don't even care what's going on in the world. But anyways, ate at the Waffle House, left there, and we had to go find a Walmart. That was an adventure and a half. Finally found that, got some shirts and some slacks, and wasted about $50 that we didn't need to, because let alone we went to dinner the next night. Let alone we had to wake up at 6 o'clock to head back to Atlanta to get in line for access. We wanted to get there. We wanted to be in the front of the line. That way we can get what we wanted to do. We got home, no joke, from the Walmart at 4:30 p.m. a.m. Yeah, 4:30 in the morning we got home. We said, Miguel and I, we said, fuck this. There's no reason in going to sleep. You're just going to fuck yourself over. Ravi ended up laying down. He wanted to take a nap. So, I started drinking some Monsters. We watched some highlights of opening day of baseball that day. And just shot the shit about that. Ravi's alarm went off, and we started our day and got off going, drove back into the town for access. Saturday, like I said, we did not get any sleep that night. That night just sucked, and it started what was a pretty bad day. We went to Access, had some fun there. From Access, we went to Ring of Honor show, and like I'm saying, this is just bam, 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 bam. I mean, no sitting around, no nothing. One thing after another. Went to the Ring of Honor show. At the Ring of Honor show, it was not it was 95% full than it was the night before. They almost packed that place out, but there was a lot of sleepy heads in there. I honestly was falling asleep, and Miguel was falling asleep. We were knocking each other back and forth, trying to get each other to wake up. It was still fun to be there, but honestly, we were getting our asses kicked for not getting any sleep the night before. Didn't waste any time leaving the ROH show. Went straight to the car, drove to the Hall of Fame. At the Hall of Fame, Miguel and I sat in the car, and we slept for about an hour and a half. I mean, it wasn't even hard to sleep in the car in the parking lot. Not the most, not the best moment of my life. But when I woke up, I actually felt a whole lot more refreshed. Got changed into the new duds that we didn't need to wear in the parking lot. That was pretty funny. Headed in to the Hall of Fame, and was really, really awake and aware of that. That was the one thing that we joked about when we were going there, that we were going to sleep through. I think all of us, really wanted to be there to see the guys put in, but most of us, didn't really care about a whole lot of us. But we weren't going to miss Shawn Michaels going into the Hall of Fame, I can tell you that. But everybody cared about everything, and people are one way and people are another. the Hall of Fame, I think you do have to give, a lot of respect to the guys up there. You don't need to be, hooting and hollering. They ask you not to do that from the beginning. It's written on your ticket stub. They tell you they're going to kick you out if you do it, but people still do the chants and everything like that. And I think there is a time for it and there isn't a time for it. Um, but my buddy Luke just felt that it should have been stone cold silent. And when I went into WrestleMania, from the time that I landed, I didn't do any dirt sheet reading, barely read anything on Twitter. I wanted everything for WrestleMania weekend to be a surprise. I didn't want to know about anything. I did know from word of mouth that Vladimir Kozlov had been taken out of the match by the core and that they were going to be replaced. The one thing that I remember in those dirt sheets before I left is that Kevin Nash really wanted to get on this card. He wanted to retire at WrestleMania. And after the pop he got at WrestleMania, I'm sorry, at the pop he got at the Royal Rumble, he really deserved it. I'm sure people all remember this, but it was really looking like, his good buddy Triple H was going to get him into that spot, even though he didn't really have any build up, being a legend and, having that comeback. I'm sure it would have worked. So I had always known that Nash said he didn't want to come back to WWE because the one reason Nash didn't want to dye his hair, he wanted to keep it that silvery look. He came out on stage and he had the black hair, and I marked out like a bitch. And I had 100 conversations trying to find a way to get Nash onto WrestleMania with Luke, but somehow he forgot this. Leaving WrestleMania, Luke and me got into this biggest pissing match of all time. I honestly don't think anybody's ever had a real fight from the YWC, but me and Luke came, honest to goodness, we came to, almost came to blows on the steps outside the Hall of Fame, almost ruined the whole weekend for everybody. I'll take 95% of the blame. Maybe I shouldn't have been talking during it, but there was other factors that went into it, the why I got so mad. But one thing or another, that's the one thing probably everybody will remember is me telling Luke that I wasn't going to give him a ride home that night. He ended up somehow getting back into the car with me, but I was so pissed right then. I swear, that's about the closest I've gotten into a fight in a long time. But I would have knocked him out. After that, I think I sort of killed the mood for everything that night. I remember being there and being like, WrestleMania is tomorrow? Like, I just couldn't believe it. I knew how long the trip was, but just like it really set on me. I walked in to the hotel that night. I sat down and I fell asleep. Bam, like that. I was out like a light, and I just woke up the next day. We got ready. We had a jam back to Atlanta. Same time. Woke up at 6. Had to make it to Access. We went to back accesses. Billy Paz was in our group, and he wasn't really feeling the Access thing. He just says that wasn't his deal. He asked for my keys. I can't even remember why he did them, and I put them in his hand, and I remember saying to Paz, I need these keys back. Do not leave without these keys, because he was thinking about going to Wrestlemania. I don't care how you get them back to me. Make sure I have these keys, because the one thing I was thinking about was, like, I have the tickets for us to go into Mania, but I don't want to carry all our Access shit in there in case we don't hit each other and I can't get this stuff. I need to put it back in the car. One thing led to another, and I got a tweet or a text from Paz, and Paz was like, hey, yo, we're heading to WrestleMania. And he had the keys. And I remember I was, as mad as I was at Luke, I was 10 times more as mad as Paz. I told that fool 100 times, I need these keys back. I was so mad. And that is the one thing I can shoot on more than anything in this video about anybody. I was so mad. I don't know what I would have done to Paz. He's a big dude that would crush me big time. But I was so mad. And anyways, we leave there. I don't even know why we walked back to the car, because we didn't know what we were gonna do once we got there. I don't know if we were looking for somebody that we knew that we could just put our stuff with them. But I'm carrying the box. I got the gimmick going for Access. But we come stumbling in the parking lot, and there's fucking Paz at a barbecue tailgating in the middle of the parking lot. He's got a beer in one hand. He's cooking burgers on this grill. He's got the he took over. I don't even know. We didn't come with no meat that day, and he didn't buy any beer. But the nice guy that Paz is weaseled his way into cooking at some barbecue, and he's eating their food, and it melted my heart, and I just forgot all about it. I honestly just told him the other day that how mad I was at him, and he had no idea. But it's in the video. We walk up on Paz, and I just couldn't believe it. We went there. We went into Wrestlemania. That was awesome. We left Mania that night, and I honestly don't even. I remember us having a huge discussion about Kurt Angle, going crazy on Twitter that night, and we got home. Um, on the way home from there, we listened to the Don West working at McDonald's skit that's on YouTube. We were playing that in the car, but once we got home, I don't remember anything that night. I probably just. I don't think we went straight to sleep, but I had blacked out. I have no memory of what the hell happened that night. We woke up the next morning, and that being Monday, there was no real big plans. We had to take Paz to the airport. He was flying out that day, but we had really had plans that we were going to go to this signing. Um, Animal was signing his book at a Barnes and Nobles or a Borders or something, and we were gonna ride into that. That was in Atlanta, but on the outside of Atlanta. And I remember waking up. It was like, I don't know if we're gonna go or do you want to go. Everybody was sort of hung over with just like not getting any sleep. The whole time we were there, we added it up. We had 10 hours of sleep the whole week. We were there for 5 days, on average of 2 hours a day. It was not good. Most of them were all on the front end on this first day, when they were sleeping in the first day. They just I don't know. One thing, we got all strapped up. We all got to go, and we got to this bookstore, and I just remember just like, wow, this is a real small turnout. Like I said, it wasn't in the main town, Atlanta. It was a little bit farther out, but there was honestly about 20 people for this animal signing. People were trying to trying to hype it up, trying to make him not feel bad. I guess he had done a book signing the day before in the heart of Atlanta, so maybe a lot of the WrestleMania fans went there. But I honestly felt bad for him that day. He got there early. He did the whole face paint gimmick up, and this was the night after. Oh no, he got put in the night before. But anyways, it was just on his eve of being put in the Hall of Fame. But it was really cool to meet him. He let me do the hawk pose with him. That was really fun. From there, we left and we did our first drop off. We left Paz, and I did the see you later bitch thing. I don't even know where that really came from, but I felt like I really hurt his feelings when he did that. Oh, I did it to Luke for the first time. I dropped him off at the airport. I let him walk for a couple of feet, and then I drove up next to him and acted like I forgot. He forgot something. I called him the bitch and drove off. But that's where it started. But with Paz was like, oh. Felt like I really crushed him, but I don't even know. I just kept doing it to everybody every time we dropped them off. But from there, we didn't have anything to do, so we had talked about it on Skype and hyped it up. We had done our investigation to find out where it was, but that was the moment of truth. We looked at each other and said, we ain't got nothing else to do except sit around and wait for Raw. So we drove out and we went to the Benoit house. Once we got there, they said that we were honestly about the fifth or sixth people that had been there. They didn't really want us to be there, but they said, just take some pictures, don't make a lot of noise. He kept on saying that his brother was trying to sleep upstairs or something like that. And you can see him in the video peeking through the windows. But I don't know. We just had to see it, and it helped us kill about an hour. We drove out there. We had to say we did something. I'm not sure what a lot of other people did that day, but that's what we did. Drove back into Atlanta. Went to Raw. We had to sit out into this the CNN Center and the big. They had at least 25 just nothing but fast food places that you could pick from. Thousands and thousands of tables full of nothing but wrestling fans. It was awesome. Met this guy that I knew off Twitter. His at Smart Rage, real big wrestling fan. But that was a lot of fun to sit in there and talk to those people. Went into Raw. Raw honestly wasn't that great, but there was this awesome moment when they were having a tag match. I think it was CM Punk, Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and Orton. I think is who it was. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a tag team match. And somebody decided they were going to, turn into like 5-year-old marks, and we watched it like that, going crazy bananas for everything. Left there, as we were leaving, I heard Sean Blackford. He was a couple people behind me going towards the door. And I said I would see him outside because there's no real way to stop and do anything. But once we got outside, I remember just being so pissed about the Cena and Rock announcement, how it didn't make any sense. A little of it was because I had already said I wasn't going to go next year. and a little bit it was I just knew that they weren't going to have anything for Cena at the Rumble and Elimination Chamber, and I've talked about that 1,000 times. I'm outside. I started making a video on my phone, and the earth just opens up with thunder and lightning and rain. It was horrible. I turned around because when I first came out, Ravi and Miguel were behind me. I turned around and they were gone, done. I never even saw Luke, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I thought they ran. So I decided I would at least run for the car, because if they ran for the car, they didn't know where they were. They'd never been in that part of town. I did not want them getting lost. But I thought this was horrible hurricane weather. I got back down to the car in the parking garage, and I called Luke because he was the one person I didn't see, and I just gave him those pinpoint discussions. Just you go here, there, and over. Don't go past the park, or you'll go all the way to the end of the street, and they'll have nowhere to go. But they finally got back to the car. We had the huge undrying event. Everybody was just covered in rain. Ravi bought the Cena hat. They covered themselves with trash bags like ponchos. We drove back home, and that's when we just had an all-out party. We were going home the next morning, and that's when all hell broke loose. Like I said, Luke got his own room, but I don't think he spent more than an hour in that room. He was always in our room hanging out. We were to the point where we were making so much noise. We had the manager, or the guy that worked the desk. He had to come tell us to be quiet, or they were going to kick us out a couple of times. We had the Hall of Fame pants get signed, but that's it. Basically, we got up the next morning and we left. But that's about all the behind the scenes dirt that I can think of. But um, man, that was real fun. 27 was real fun. Like I said, I didn't think that I'd be going to Mania again, but here we are on the road again. All four of us are all jacked up and ready to go. Hopefully I can see as many of you guys there. That's one fun thing about going to the Access things. It's all nothing but wrestling fans. You get to meet a lot of people that watch my videos, a lot of people that I watch their videos, and good times. If you've never been to Mania, and don't think that it's that big of a deal, once you get there, it is nonstop fun, and it'll take you a week to get rid of it, to get back into normal shape. Last year, I took the whole back end of the week. I came home on Tuesday night, and I had all the way until Sunday to recover to go back to work. This year, because of Easter, I don't get to do that. I have to go back to work on Wednesday, because the boss says I have to be there because it's going to be busy. So I have the John Laurinaitis voice. I can guarantee you that. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to do something to try to make sure that I don't get um, sick or lose my voice. And I watched the Mania videos when I was editing them all together. I started to notice that my voice wasn't that great when we got there. I don't remember being sick or anything like that, but I started blaming it on the ROH show for losing it and just not getting any sleep. So I can't guarantee more sleep, but I can say I'm probably gonna get some cough drops or some herbal teas or something, but hopefully no laryngitis voice.